Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to discuss 2023 O-Level Past Paper MCQ part. So let's move on to question number 1. Urea, which is an excreted product, is produced in. So urea is produced in liver and it's excreted by kidneys, right? So urea is a excreted product that is from a part of the amino acid. As you know, amino acid, you have a NH2 part. That NH2 part will be converted into ammonia within the body. As ammonia is highly toxic, it will be converted into urea and by the liver, and then it's excreted by the kidneys. So R should be liver. Then second one, what is the unit of power? So as you know, power is equal to energy divided by time, which means energy is measured in joules, time is measured in seconds. So you get the answer as joule per second, J is minus 1. So another unit for J is minus 1 or joule per second is watt. Then question number 3. The formula of an isopropyl alcohol molecule is CH3 times 2 CHOA. What's the number of atoms in this molecule? So if you carefully consider this CH3, it has 4 atoms, right? 1 carbon and 3 hydrogen. Altogether it contains here 4 atoms, 4 times 2. So 4 times 2, it should be 8, and there are 4 other atoms as well. So altogether 8 plus 4, answer is 12. Fourth question, what is the tissue that transport food produced in plant leaves throughout the plant body? So it should be phloem, and the food is translocated as sucrose. If they ask the tissue that transport water and minerals, it should be xylem. So those are two main complex permanent tissues that is present in plants. Then question number 5, when two objects are rubbed together and one of them gets positively charged, transfer to the other are. So always when rubbing or when a charged particle is moving from one another, mostly it should be electrons, right? So if you are rubbing each other, definitely it should be electrons. Why? Because protons and neutrons are present in the nucleus, right? So if it is present in nucleus, it cannot move here and there. It's locked inside the nucleus. But electrons, they are moving freely around the shell, so it can jump from one place to another. So should be electrons. Question number 6. Which of the following includes an acidic oxide, amphoteric oxide, and basic oxide? So if you see amphoteric oxide, only amphoteric oxide that is present in your syllabus is aluminium oxide, which means you should have Al2O3 in the middle. So you can omit this third answer, you can omit the fourth answer as well. So now you have two answers remaining. Out of these two, you can see SO3 is same, Al2O3 is same. Now you should consider regarding the last one. Okay, so here they are asking the last one as the basic oxide. So you should know basic oxides are from metallic oxide. So except aluminium, all the other metallic oxides will form basic oxides. Here you will get it the answer as magnesium oxide. Mg. Magnesium is a metal. So metallic oxides are usually basic. So SiO2 is slightly acidic oxide. Question number 7. In a plant cell, blank can be called as a non-living structure. So out of the given answers, cell wall is present as the outermost structure and it is made up of cellulose. So it is a non-living structure, should be first one. So plasma membrane, ribosome, Golgi complex, all the things that are inside the cell membrane are living structures, with including the plasma membrane as well. Question number 8. Another morphological feature of a plant bearing leaves with the venation shown in the diagram is. So as you can see here, this leaf shows parallel venation, which means this leaf is belong to a monocotyledonous plant. So let's read one by one. Presence of an uproot system, that's wrong. Monocot plants have fibrous root system. Then second one, having a branch stem, no. Monocots have unbranched stem. You can omit that answer as well. Then having one cotyledon seed, that's correct. Monocotyledon, mono means one. So should be third one. Let's read fourth one as well. Bearing tetramers or pentamers, that's wrong. In monocot plants, it bears trimerous plants, which means flower parts are 3 or multiples of 3. Question number 9. Which of the following statement on electromagnetic waves is false? They transmit energy. That's correct. All waves transmit energy, right? Including mechanical waves as well. Second, they travel with a speed of 3 × 10⁻⁸ ms-1 in vacuum. That's also correct. It's a feature of electromagnetic wave. Then the frequency is less in a material medium than vacuum. No. If you have watched our previous video regarding 2022 O-level, in that paper, I told you frequency only depends on the source, right? It doesn't depend on the medium. So third one is false. That should be the answer. Let's see the fourth one as well. Speed is less in a material medium than vacuum. Yeah, it's correct. So vacuum, we have no particles, so the wave can travel very fast. If you have a material medium, then the speed will be very low, lesser than 3. It will be around 2.98, 2.96 into 10 to the power 8. Likewise, small changes can be seen. Then question number 10. Which of the following statement is true about ionic compounds? Let's read. They conduct electricity in solid state. That's wrong. Ionic compounds conduct electricity only in aqueous or fused states. So we call it as molten states, not in solid state. Next one, all dissolve well in water. That's wrong. We say most of the ionic compounds are dissolved well in water, not all. Then third one, boiling points and melting points take high values. Yeah, that's correct. Why? Because ionic compounds form ionic lattices. So if it is forming ionic lattices, then it should have high melting and high boiling points because they are relatively stable than other compounds. Let's see the fourth answer as well. They do not conduct electricity in the fused state. That's wrong. They conduct electricity in the fused state. So answer should be third one. Question number 11. Following symptoms are seen in a person with suffering from a disease in the respiratory system. So here you can see release of blood with cough, loss in body weight, high fatigue. This person would have contracted blood with cough is a main symptom of tuberculosis. So the answer should be third one. In pneumonia, you can see mainly fluid may accumulate in the lungs. In bronchitis, usually voice get affected, and itis means the inflammation, which means bronchitis means the inflammation of the bronchus. In silicosis, it is mainly formed due to ingestion of silica compounds. Usually, it's an occupational hazard. If you are working in a quarry or in a glass industry factory, then silicosis is the one which causes this respiratory tract disorder. Right. Question number 12. In the reaction shown by the arrow, which are the following flaws in the external circuit? Right. So here we can see zinc and copper, and they are marked from zinc to copper. Right. So in a zinc and copper, it's an electrochemical cell. As you know, zinc is the metal which is having high reactivity than copper. Zinc will be acting as the anode. So if something is acting as the anode, it releases electron. Right. So if electrons are released, then here this should be negatively charged. This should be positively charged, which means from negative to positive, here it moves the electron. So answer should be second one. Then 13, what is the cathodic reaction takes place in the above cell? So as you know, electrons are moving towards the copper. So copper will be the cathode. Then the cathodic reaction occurring here will be, now electrons are removed. Electrons are negatively charged. So if there are negatively charged electrons that are moving towards the copper, there should be a positive charge ion which should obtain these negative charge electron. So if when you take dilute sulfuric acid, it's a strong acid, which means it will be ionized to form H plus and sulfate ion. So H plus ions are the ones which can gain this electron to form hydrogen gas. So the answer should be third answer. Question number 14. Consider following statement regarding refraction of light. Light refracts only when it travels from rare medium to dense medium. That's wrong. Light refracts when it travels from one medium to another. It can be dense and rare as well. Reason for the refraction is the difference on speed of light in two media. Yeah, that's correct. Statement C. Frequency of light changes during refraction. Wrong. Why it is wrong? As I told you in the previous paper as well, frequency only depends on source, right? So frequency will not change during refraction. Only speed and wavelength will be changing during a refraction. So only B is correct. Question number 15. Acceleration due to gravity on Earth is 10 ms minus 2. On the moon, its value is 1/6 the value on Earth. Then they're asking what is the weight of an object on the moon if it weighs 60 newtons on Earth, right? So let's say weight is equal to mg. So here they have said the gravitational acceleration on moon is 1/6 the value on Earth, which means you can just multiply the value that is obtained on Earth by 1/6. Okay, so here you have 60 Newton weight, so you can just multiply by 1/6. So 6 times 1/6 will give you 10 newtons. Answer is first answer. Question number 16. On the following characteristics, what are the characteristics common only to aves and mammalia belonging to the vertebrate animal group? Okay, so warm-bloodedness, that's correct. It belongs only to aves and mammalia. Then skin is covered with hair, that is only belonging to mammalia, so it's wrong. C, bony internal skeleton. Mammalia has bony internal skeleton, but aves have light bony endoskeleton, which helps them to fly. D, four-chambered heart. Yeah, that's correct. So answer should be A and D. Answer number 2. 17. Which of the following is false about metals? That's right. Majority of the elements are metals. That's correct. Even though you have only 20 elements in your syllabus, if you take the whole period table, majority will be metals. Answer number 2. All metals conduct electricity. Yes, that's also correct. It's a metallic feature, metallic characteristic. Next, metal atoms lose electrons and form positive ions. Yes, that's also correct. For an example, sodium will lose electron from positive ion, right? Sodium plus electron. So it forms a positive ion. Fourth answer, all metals react with acids and liberate hydrogen. That's wrong. Why it is wrong? Because if you take the activity series, the ones which are below hydrogen in the activity series, those are copper, mercury, silver, platinum, gold. These metals do not react with acids. That's why it is placed below hydrogen in the activity series. And also the reason for including hydrogen in activity series, which includes metals, is a reason to identify which metals react with acids and which metals are not reacting with acid. So these are the metals which are not reacting with acid. So all metals react with acid, that's wrong. Question number 18. When a few drops of methyl orange were added to a certain solution, it turns red. Which of the following is most likely to be pH of that solution? So methyl orange turning red, it indicates that it's a acid. If methyl orange turns red, it is a acid. So acids have pH value less than 7. So out of the answers given, answer number 1, it should be pH 2. If it is pH 7, it should be neutral. If it is 12 or 40, those should be basic. Then methyl orange will give a yellow in color with that. Question number 19. It takes 4 seconds for an ultrasonic wave sent by a ship to the bottom of the sea to be reflected and come back to the ship. If the depth of the bottom of the sea is 2880 meters, what is the speed of the ultrasonic wave? Okay, so just imagine you have a ship and then the ship emits a certain sound wave. So here you have the water. So it emits sound waves. It will be reflected back from the bottom of the sea, flow of the sea, and come back. So here it says it takes 4 seconds for wave to go and come back again, which means here to go only it has taken 2 seconds. So you can just apply speed is equal distance divided by time. Distance is 2880 meters divided by the number of seconds, that is 2 seconds. So answer should be 1440 ms minus 1. It should be the second answer. 20th question. Given below are some properties of a gas. Can be burnt easily, density is less than that of air, and slightly soluble in water. Okay, so if it can burn easily, it should be a combustible gas. So out of the gas given here, hydrogen is the combustible gas. That's why in hydrogen test, when we are inserting a lighted splint, it will give a squeaky pop sound because it is combustible gas. So density is less than that of air. That's also correct. Hydrogen, helium are the gases which are having less density than air. So that's the reason why hydrogen gas moves up, because it is less dense than air. Then slightly soluble in water. All the gases here are slightly soluble in water. So answer should be answer number 1, hydrogen. 21. Which part belong to central nervous system and which control rate of heartbeat? Okay, so rate of heartbeat, rate of respiration, then reflex actions controlling. So all of these are done by medulla oblongata. Answer number 4. If you take functions of cerebrum, those are perform higher mental activities like learning, thinking, then perception of senses likewise. And cerebellum is involved in mainly maintaining equilibrium and body balance. So for question number 21, answer should be fourth one. Question number 22. Consider following statement about the resistance of a conductor. See, statement A depends on the potential difference between two ends of the conductor. No, resistance depends only on these factors, that is length. If you increase the length, then resistance will be increasing. If you increase the cross-sectional area, then resistance will be decreasing. And the other factor which affect resistance is material of the conductor. So if it is made up of nichrome-like material, then resistance is high. If it is made up of copper, then resistance is low. The other thing which affect resistance of a conductor is temperature. When temperature increase, resistance will be decreasing. Okay, let's read the statements. So I told you A is wrong. Then B, direct proportional length of the conductor. That's correct. When length is increasing, resistance is increasing. C depends on the current flowing through the conductor. No. So answer should be answer number B. Only B. Answer number 2. 23. What is the amount of moles of calcium carbonate present in 10 grams of calcium carbonate? So you can just apply number of moles equal to mass over molar mass. Mass, they have given it as 10 grams. Molar mass, if you calculate it, or they have already given it as 100. So just divide it by 100. So 10 divided by 100, answer is 0.1 moles. It should be the second answer. 24. Select the correct statement about carbohydrates. All carbohydrates are water soluble? No. Why? Polysaccharides are not water soluble. Then answer number 2. All carbohydrates are crystalline in nature? No. Here also exception is polysaccharide. Polysaccharides are water insoluble and they are not crystalline substances. Third answer. In carbohydrate ratio between carbon and hydrogen is 1 is to, no, that's wrong. So you know CxH2O times Y. This is the common molecular formula of carbohydrate, which means here hydrogen to oxygen ratio will be 2 is to 1. So oxygen to hydrogen 1 is to 2, not carbon, so it's wrong. Fourth answer, glucose is the structure unit of carbohydrate. That's correct. So you have cellulose, starch, and glycogen as polysaccharide. So if you take all the three polysaccharides, the monomer of that polysaccharide will be glucose. Answer will be answer number 4. Question number 25. The figure on the right shows a bimetal strip made up of two metals A and B. Of these, the metal expanding more is A, while metal expanding less is B. So they are asking which of the following shape does the strip change when temperature is increasing. Think of it like a march past that is occurring in a school sport meet, right? So if you have been to a march past, you know, let's say there are two children at either side. The one which is moving here at the outer space should move a larger distance compared to the one which is moving in the inner circle, which means if this person at this corner, let's say X, if this person has to move very fast compared to, let's say, Y, which means X should move a very larger distance. So apply the same thing here. If A is expanding more, then it should bend like this. Because if metal A is expanding more, its length should be higher than the length of B. So answer should be answer number 4. 26. If an object is made up of solid substance to float in a liquid, they're asking density of the solid substance should be less than density of liquid. That's wrong. We are not going to connect density with density of the objects with upthrust or any other thing. Then answer number 2, mass of the solid object should be equal to mass of the liquid displaced. Let's keep that for a moment. Third one, weight of the solid object should be equal to weight of the liquid displaced. Yes, that's correct. If you can remember Archimedes' principle, when an object is completely or partially submerged in a fluid, the upthrust acting on it is equal to weight of the displaced fluid, right? So according to Archimedes, upthrust should be equal to weight of the displaced fluid. As you know here, when an object is floating, upward and downward force should be equal, which means weight should be equal to upthrust here, right? And according to Archimedes, it says upthrust should be equal to weight of the displaced fluid. If you consider these two equations, upthrust is there, which means weight of the object will be equal to weight of displaced fluid. You can take it by using axiom number 1, right? So third one is correct. So if this is correct, you can get the second answer as well. Why? Because W is equal to mg. If G is same, then mass should also be same. You can take mass of the solid object should also be equal to mass of the liquid displaced. Next, weight of the object should be less than the upthrust acting on it. No, if it is so, what will happen? If weight is less, upthrust is high, there is unbalanced force, so the object will be going upwards. Okay, so answer would be answer number 2 and 3. Both are correct. Question number 27. Of the offspring produced in interbreeding of two organisms with a genotype capital T simple T, the number of genotypes and the phenotypes differing from one another are. Okay, so you can just draw it and see, right? Capital T simple T times capital T simple T. Right? So these two will give you capital T simple T genes. Here also capital T simple T genes. If you mix it, capital T, capital T, capital T simple T, then here also capital T simple T, here it will get simple T simple T. So they're asking genotype and the phenotype different from one another. So here there are three types of genotypes. And phenotype, it should be either tall or short. So it would be 3 and 2. There are three different genotypes and two different phenotypes. Answer number 2. 28. The figure indicates how three identical bulbs A, B, and C and a resistor are connected to a circuit. Which statement correctly indicates a relationship? Right. So if you take a normal circuit, you can see always the current starts from the drive side, which means current is moving from positive to negative. When current comes to this junction, it has two pathways to move, one through A, one through B. Right? But if you take this A pathway, you have an external resistor as well. So you should know when the resistance increase, current going through it will be decreasing. Right? So here A should have the least current. Why? Because there is a resistance connected in series. So the total resistance will be increasing. When resistance increase, current decrease. So A should be having the lowest. Then let's see, these two currents will move together and move through C, which means there is a total current that is moving from A and B is moving through C, right? Which means she should have the highest current moving through it, which means she should have the highest brightness. So you should know brightness depends on the current. So answer will be A, B, C. Answer number 1. Question number 21. Indicated below is a reaction between hematite and carbon monoxide. They ask you what is the mass of iron that can be produced using 1 mole of Fe2O3. Okay, so if you consider this equation, they are asking iron and they have given Fe2O3, right? So consider ratio between these two. In the equation, you have 1 Fe2O3 will form 2 Fe. Yeah, consider the number in front of it. Right. So they are asking what is the mass of iron that is produced when 1 mole of Fe2O3 react. So this ratio is equal to the mole ratio. When 1 mole of Fe2O3 reacts, it forms 2 moles of iron. So for 2 moles of iron, you can just find the mass, right? So they have given Fe as 56, the molar mass. So number of moles is 2, mass you don't know, molar mass is 56 grams per mole. So if you multiply this, you'll get mass is equal to 112 grams. Answer number 3. Right. Question number 13. The amount of platelets in blood of a person is subject to a viral infection and has decreased below the normal level. As a result of this, right? Okay. So they are saying that platelets has been reduced. It means there's a kind of platelet deficiency in the body. Then what will happen? So remind regarding that lesson, what was the function of platelet? The function of the platelet is to initiate blood clotting, which means if we don't have enough number of platelets, then what will happen? Blood clotting will be very slow. It will not occur very properly. Answer is answer number 3. Question number 31. Figure ABC shows how coplanar forces are acting on three rectangular sheets. Of these sheets in equilibrium are. Okay. So here you have 5 Newton, 5 Newton, 10 Newton. These are parallel forces. So in parallel forces, sum of these two will be equal to third force. So that is correct. This is in equilibrium. Here in B, 5 Newton, 5 Newton, 10 Newton. So you cannot take it like that. If this is 5 Newton, if this is 5 Newton, this should have a value that is lesser than the sum of these two. So this is not in equilibrium. When you take C, here, these forces are not linear, which means this will be subjected to a clockwise rotation, a clockwise moment. So C is also not in equilibrium, only A. Question number 32. Catalyst increase the rate of chemical reaction. Yes, it's correct. B, at the end of the reaction, chemical decomposition of catalyst changes? No. Catalysts are chemical compounds which increase the rate of reaction without being consumed during the reaction, which means the chemical composition does not change. So B is wrong, A is correct. Answer number 2. Question number 33. The setups 1, 2, 3, 4 shown in the figure were prepared by adding equal volumes of water with equal concentration of carbon dioxide. In which setup will there be lowest carbon dioxide concentration after exposing these into 3 hours in identical conditions of flight. Okay, so they're asking the lowest carbon dioxide concentration. So let's look one by one. Here you have an aquatic plant and an aquatic animal. Aquatic plant, what does it do? It do photosynthesis as well as respiration. In aquatic animal, it do cellular respiration, which means carbon dioxide is released by this animal, right? Let's say the answer number 2. Here you have a black color paper, which means photosynthesis does not occur. But you have a aquatic plant and an aquatic animal, which means both of these respirate, which means this will have the highest concentration of carbon dioxide. So this is wrong. Then answer number 3, you have water with aquatic plant. So it is not covered by a black paper, which means you have light conditions here supplied so that this can do photosynthesis. So when photosynthesis is happening, it will absorb carbon dioxide that is present within the water so that it will have the lowest carbon dioxide concentration. But let's see fourth answer as well. Here you have aquatic animal, which means it releases carbon dioxide during cellular respiration. So it's wrong. So answer should be answer number 3. Because of the aquatic plant doing photosynthesis, for photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water is needed. So carbon dioxide will be absorbed. So it will have the lowest carbon dioxide concentration. Question number 34. Consider the following statement on polymers. They have a very high relative molecular mass. Yes, that's correct. Why I am saying like that? Let's say polythene. So this is the structure of polythene. You have n number of repeating units. This n number can be like 50,000, 1 lakh, likewise. Let's say 1 lakh. So here carbon 2 means 12 times 2, 24, and 4 hydrogen altogether 16. So here in one structure unit, the molecular mass is 16. So let's say you have 1 lakh amount of that, which means 100,000. So 16 into 100,000 will give you 16 lakhs. So it will have very high relative molecular mass. So it's correct. Statement B, small molecules contribute to make them are called as repeat units. Wrong. This should be monomers. Monomers are the small molecules. Repeat unit can be called as a structure unit of polymers. So it's not the small molecule which forms the polymer. So B is wrong. C, can be classified artificial and natural based on origin. Yes. If you take example for artificial polymers, you have polythene, Teflon, then PVC, right? And for natural polymers, you have rubber, DNA, RNA, and all the polysaccharides that you know. Those are not. So that's correct. So answer should be A and C. Question number 35. The figure illustrates how two insulated copper coils A and B are wound around a soft iron core. Which of the following statements is true about this arrangement? First answer. The moment the switch S is closed, a current flows in A while no current flows in B. So the moment that you switch on this, there will be a current flowing through this circuit. Which means there will be a current through it. That's correct. But there's no current flow in B. That's wrong. So as soon as you switch on, there will be a current that is increased from 0 to a certain value. So if the current is increasing, then there will be a magnetic field that is produced within A that is also increasing, right? So if this is increasing, that can be felt by the coil in B. Okay, so this is the basic principle of a transformer. In a transformer, when the magnetic field in primary coil changes, then there is an induced current produced in B according to the change in magnetic field, right? So here no current, that's wrong. Let's see the second answer. When the switch S is kept continuously closed, the current flows in A and current flows in B too. That's wrong. Because this is a direct current. These direct currents doesn't change the magnitude. So what will happen? If we switch on, it will have a continuous value. If it has continuous value, it will have a continuous magnetic field, which means the magnetic field is not changing. If the magnetic field is not changing, it cannot be felt by the secondary coil. So second answer is wrong. Third, only the moment the switch S is closed, current flows in B. Yeah, that's correct. Only the moment when H is closed and open, only current moves. Let's read the fourth one as well. Only the moment of switch S is open and is closed, the current flows in B. Yeah, that's the most perfect answer. This is also correct, but for explain it much more better. So answer number 4. 36 of the following statement on the velocity time graph, which one is false? Area covered by the graph gives the displacement. That's correct. Area under the velocity time graph gives you displacement. The graph starts from origin of the object starting from the motion with state of rest. Yeah, that's correct. If state of rest means velocity is 0, so it should start from origin. Then gradient of the graph is 0 in a motion where the velocity varies with time. So let's say if gradient is 0, then what can you see? Velocity is constant throughout the medium. So here it says velocity varies with time, so that's wrong. That should be the answer. Let's see the fourth one as well. Gradient of the graph gives acceleration or deceleration. Ah, that's correct. Area under the graph will give you the displacement. Gradient will give you the acceleration. So here if there is no gradient, no acceleration, which means it moves with uniform velocity. Question number 37. What is the pollutant that contributes to abnormal growth of algae population in oceanic ecosystem? So abnormal growth of algae population, which means it's a state what you call as eutrophication. For eutrophication, what do you need? Phosphate and nitrate ions are needed. So should be answer number 4. So these are very easy MCQs. Ne? You can directly get the answer if you know the theory well. 38. During the discussion held with few adults living in coastal areas, they said that at present they witness an increasing number of outbreaks of storms occurring per year, which means there's kind of climatic change, right? And their severity while coastal erosion occurs very largely, right? So which of the following environmental phenomena contributes to most of the condition? So you have global warming, greenhouse effect, eutrophication, ozone layer depletion. So here, if you think it very deeply, storms are occurring, which means climatic changes are occurring, as well as coastal erosion occur, which means there should be increase in the sea level. So increase in sea level, then having global climatic patterns is a characteristic feature of global warming. When global warming is increasing, what will happen? Polar ice caps will be melted, then sea level will be rising up. As a result, low levels will be submerged, soil erosions may occur, as well as climatic changes also occur. So answer should be answer number 1. 39. The environment pyramids always indicate in an upright way are. So always energy pyramids are upright. That's a direct answer that you can get because always energy is dissipated when moving from one trophic level to another. What's the reason for that? Because only 10% of energy is stored in animal's body. So when another animal is depending on that prey, only 10% is gone, right? So always we say only 10% of energy is moving from one trophic level to another. Let's say the primary producer is having 1000 joules, then the primary consumer or the second trophic level will have only 10% of that, 100 joules. Then 10% of that, 10 joules. Likewise, this moves along. This is also the reason why food chains are no longer than 4 to 5 links. Why? Because when the energy is dissipating, the last trophic level or the animal in the last trophic level will get very less amount of energy, which means that less amount of energy is insufficient for the organism to live. That's the reason why food chains are no longer than 5 links. Question number 40. Which of the following practice is an example for a principle of recycling? Recycling means you should produce a new thing from an existing waste product. Let's see. Making doormats from denim trousers that is no more in use. Yes, that's correct, right? They are making doormats from trousers. It's a new product that is formed. It should be the answer. Let's see the second answer as well. Younger brother wearing clothes used by his elder brother. So that should be kind of reuse, right? Using the same thing. Answer number 3. Using the same cloth bag to carry foodstuff bought day to day. That's also reuse in the same bag. So that comes under reuse. 4th, restitching and wearing a cloth whose stitches have gone undone. So here also wearing the same thing, right? Without throwing it out and without forming any new substance. So that's also kind of reuse. So answer should be answer number 1. So that's all regarding 2023 oral MCQ paper. So see you in next video. Thank you for watching.